Dragonshire, game number 1. Alright, boys. So the third qualifier for Meta Madness continues. We got $2,000 prize money on the line for the main event. As mentioned, this time we don't have a big title, name sponsor, anything, so I put the prize money up myself for this. We currently have the Saboteurs going up against the DogZ, and we have 12 heroes that are fully banned for this qualifier. So in qualifier number 2 we had 8, and now that number increased to 12, meaning that the 12 heroes that you can see down here are not available to be picked at all, and obviously every single hero that you can pick can only be picked once. So Jojo gets eliminated quickly. The Saboteurs, of course, the favorite going into this series. I mean, the boys have excelled in both qualifiers that they participated in already. The DogZ, they are definitely the, I mean, no pun intended, but they're the underdogs. So yeah, that was a happy coincidence, if anything. Still, of course, a couple of good players over there and a couple of names that you should definitely recognize. We're talking of Link, for example, but it's going to be interesting to see what they can do against the blue team now, because up to this point, at least, the Saboteurs, they had some qualifiers and matches where I would say they struggled, but the end result for them was always very strong. So they are one of the teams that will definitely make it to the playoffs, and currently they're also leading in the leaderboard, meaning they will have a top position, which for seeding into the main bracket for the playoffs is obviously always very, very good. We get ETC banned out as well. Yeah, ETC has actually started to pop up a bit more often now, particularly with teams starting to use him as a side laner too and going in with stage dives. That's another one. And with that, we're now having Maiev banned away, which is of course also targeting our side laner over here. People have picked up very quickly that Rutsu can be an absolute monster, not only on Maiev, but some of these other side picks as well. So he's been putting on a clinic with multiple heroes, and they're now trying to avoid the worst from happening. The problem is just simply when you're going up against Dainu, Yasu, Hazu, Rutsu, I mean, what are you gonna ban, right? I always love it when people, you know, come in and it's like, oh my god, how could they not ban this hero? Don't they know how good this guy is on this hero? And I'm always sitting here thinking, is like, you know that he plays more than one hero, right? And you know there's 4 other players on that team too that also have a lot of key heroes. But yeah, the armchair coaching is sometimes very amusing when you watch it later unfold. But okay, so Benny gets mirrored in. We have Hazops on the Haka for the side lane. With this being Dragonshire, I mean, again, the Haka has already been chosen, so they don't have to worry about the Vikings or anything. But let's say we're going into Towers of Doom later on in the series. This could be another point of contention where teams are either going to ban or pick it away. Now, with the final bans coming in, we're getting the third one. Yeah, on Dragonshire, Lulnara. Yeah, Bambi is appearing a little bit more now. With Tracer being perma-banned, with Vala being perma-banned, Sergeant Hammer not available anymore. People are definitely starting to shift away from some of the traditional damage picks. And Lunara can, of course, also very nicely poke from a distance, get some interrupts going too. So, yeah. Final ban. Actually, if anything, a bit surprised that they are hesitating this much. But yeah, they're getting rid of Garrosh. So, no Garrosh in game number 1 at least. Link is kind of known for his Rhaegar plays too, by the way. So, that they picked Rhaegar away from him is also interesting here. I mean, on Dragonshire, if you have Rhaegar, you can of course get those camps a lot faster, particularly when we're talking about the Bruiser camps. But I wonder if part of what played into the decision to pick Rhaegar this early was also that they're trying to take it away from him. Stitches and Falstad, so they're going into a potential isolation play. Stitches hook into Gorge and then a Falstad Gust, and it can isolate the target quickly. That leaves us with a double pick for the blue team. So yeah, let's see what particularly Rutsu plays here. I mean, for Dino, any range damage dealer would definitely do, but is Rutsu putting an extra twist onto this? Or do we get something a bit more standard for game number 1? Zagara and Kerrigan. Alright, Dino busts out his Zagara play on Dragonshire. Dragonshire and Braxis are the 2 maps where he plays Zagara. So we get some vision on that. And that leaves us with Link for the support. The final pick for game number 1 in the best of 3 series. Now we're still in the winner bracket here. This is the winner bracket quarterfinal. One of them. And yeah, Link coming in with the final pick. Taking his sweet time, but somebody has a stun. Yep, it's gonna be Uther. stun after Stitch's Gorge, I guess. And with that, we're heading into the first map of the best of 3 series between the DogZ and the Saboteurs. Game number 1 on the left in blue, the Saboteurs with Dino on Zagara, Yasu on Rega, Bad Benny on Muradin. We get Hazops on Dehaka and Rutsu is playing Kerrigan. To the right side of the map, the DogZ with Kemiksam on Falstad, Link on Rexa, Jayhard on Junkrat. We got Splice on Stitches and Suspect on Uther. Now also, quick note in case that you haven't realized it yet, we actually are using the traditional Blizzard UI right now, which, yes, it is inferior to the UI that I normally have. The user interface doesn't show stacks, for example, and it's also a lot harder, or aka impossible, to keep track of baseline stacking. But unfortunately, Blizzard's attempt to put some bug fixes in have also ruined the third-party UIs, so we'll wait until this is fixed. That might happen during qualifier number 3, it might not, but for the time being, this is a solution that we're going for, just to properly at least be able to display everything here. So in case you were wondering why the UI has changed, blame Blizzard, as usual. Now, with that said and done, we got the Patchwork Creation on level 1 for Stitches, Flare for Rexa, so a little bit of vision here. And we're already going for our first kill. Seems like Uther is going to be the one to fall. He gets annihilated, and with a quick tongue drag from Hazu, they went for Stitches for just a moment. But since Uther's ghost is still around, he was able to heal the hit points up fairly quickly. Benny not really under pressure here. But as is, we now have down at the bottom of the map, as expected, Dino, of course, with Zagara trying to also establish some extra vision with those creep tumors, and is just starting to pressure and push here. Blue team, clearly the favorite. So we're gonna see what they can pull off here, also how massively they can push this. Because at the end of the day, if you're the favorite in the series, what you oftentimes see happening is that the team comes in and tries to just be super aggressive. So oftentimes it's just an attempt to push this from the beginning extremely hard, to try and ensure that your opponent doesn't really have any breathing room and is always trailing behind and has to react to you. I mean, Link gets attacked here on Rexa, but at least they get Muradin. Bad Benny goes down again. Well, first time in at least this match, but yep, Benny down. And attack me when Benny feeds. But they had a chance to maybe even go for a Dragonite, but they're still pushing at the top, of course, with the camp that they had. And that's some easy damage on the fort wall. I mean, some of these towers are actually going to go down, so good for them. Now that they're moving down to the bottom of the map, the goal is, of course, to first of all reclaim this particular shrine. Good hook against Zagara, but Kerrigan is now coming in and saying hello. They're also taking control of the shrine again, denying a Dragonite opportunity, or at least that's the plan. Uther went into the middle, but Stitch is trying to stay a little bit longer on the shrine and give them control, results in him falling after he became the target of Kerrigan. So yep, well done. And over here in the middle, they couldn't claim this. Benny is still sitting tight there, up towards the top. Link trying to mitigate the damage as best as he can and bring this back. But now that they're going for Falstad, that's another kill. That's the third kill that they're getting. 3 kills to 1. So that is a neat little lead for the Saboteurs. And also a lot of control established on the map, which you can already tell just by looking at their position on the minimap. Now this is super early in the game, obviously, we're only 3 minutes in, but they've also done damage at the top wall. They're now trying to do the same down here at the bottom of the map. We're having them diving real deep here. I mean, always looking if somebody is positioned, if somebody is rotating, and they're playing an incredibly aggressive game with all of the stun heroes that they have. Kerrigan and Muradin roaming with some help from Rega is doing a lot for them, but this was, of course, extremely well played now. Beautiful kill. So Zagara gets caught here, gets booped around after the hook, and that's a nice follow-up. But it seems like the blue team is doing the same thing up in the middle now. A nice combo from Kerrigan after Bad Benny came in with a good stun, and they are going for the counter kill. So we're having 4 kills against 2 right now. Definitely looking very good here. Up at the top, the entire wall has now been destroyed, and they're still just trying to brawl it out in the middle of the map, with level 7 talents now on both sides. Another quick hook coming in against Bad Benny this time. And as is also, we have now the heavy impact for Bad Benny as his level 7 talent. Falstad coming in. Typical build also from Zagara here. So going into roaches on level 1 and level 7. I mean, we've seen this from Dino before. He's playing it on Braxis, as I explained during the draft, and he's oftentimes showcasing it also when we're talking about Dragonshire. So the build hasn't really changed for him yet. Rhaegar is already dealing with a camp down at the bottom of the map in an attempt to get even more pressure going onto that bot lane. And honestly, if he's able to get that one and they can then push with Zagara and Kerrigan maybe looking for kills in the back, that would be pretty sweet. Splice's hooks have been on point, but he also needs level 13 to make them a bit more dangerous. So far, it's been alright, but not really the craziest thing in the world. So, either way. Yeah, they go for Stitches again. Trying to get a hit here. Splice, careful. Body blocked, yep, by Dino. They're getting him into a corner. Camp is there too. Stitches is gone, and that's a nice combo now. Your opponent is on the map with only 4 heroes. You have a camp. You can push straight in for that fort. And up at the top, of course, a bit of counter pressure by Link. But now that Dehaka is here, he can at least collect the experience globes. Can also ensure that that Draxa doesn't get too much damage. We have level 10 ready, and actually, he might die here. Damn. Hazu going for the solo kill against Link, and he gets him. Alright, so Rexa is dead. The fort is about to get destroyed. And this is really falling apart quickly. That level 10 talent was a huge deal, and obviously it was also a huge part of Hazu getting the kill. If not for isolation there, he wouldn't have been able to pull that off. Now we have Rutsu with the first Dragonite, so he comes in and can travel immediately towards the top and help to destroy the second fort of the game. The first one is already taken out. The dogs have nearly level 10. I mean, they are trying to defend as best as they can here, but that also means they are abandoning the bot lane a bit, where Zagara is now with a Maw starting to threaten. Falstad, sorry. He went rocket right! Yes! He's still... And he survives because of it! That's why you pick rocket right. He would have died 100%. The damage over time was already there, and he just goes rocket right, and he's like, see ya, boys! See you later. So fantastic save from Junkrat. Really nice start too, with more into the Stormbolt, but yeah, a bit too much for them. So I love the way that they just played this one out. Now, just to give you guys a bit of an idea of damage, what we've seen so far, we have 10,000 for Junkrat, 15,000 for Dehaka. Hazu has been, of course, padding his stats a little bit against Misha throughout all of this. When we're looking at Kerrigan, she's sitting at 12,000, Zagara herself at 13. So, pretty good numbers for the blue team here. Whereas Junkrat is the main damage dealer, as always assumed, for the dogs. And they're getting sniffed out super quickly here. Yeah, I mean, they were going for this, and I guess there was at least some discussion whether or not the blue team would invade. But they kept Junkrat around. Nobody wanted to invade on this just yet. But I love how they are always just looking to see if they can maybe force another fight. Now that they have level 13, I'm pretty sure they now would take it at any point. But yeah. So, 6 kills to 2. Level 13 talents are ready. That gives us also slowly and steadily a bit more damage for Zagara as she's switching over to her Hydralisk talents. Chrysalis is in for Kerrigan, so she has a bit more survivability here. And, well, Mirrodin is still looking at Junkrat. I mean, he knows exactly where he is and is trying to zone him away now. If Mirrodin can jump over here at some point, yeah, that more, no. So Dino a little bit late on the Maw. I think he probably queued that one up and didn't really plan on unleashing it any further, and then he got triggered anyways. But that obviously didn't do anything for him. Within half a level, Stitches is also going to get the hook extension. The extension on the range, that's going to help him a ton too. So we'll see what he can do there. If he lands one of those monster hooks and then follows up with a Gorge, they might be able to get kills here. Particularly with Junkrat, of course, going into Rocket Ride. If you time that properly, you can unleash a lot of damage. And since Uther is there for a stun as well, and you have Junkrat with his own traps, there's a lot that he can do with this. Now, they are trying to go for Hazu, and nearly. If the old man would have moved down towards the bottom for a moment there, that could have been the end of it, but nope. Is able to escape, moves towards the fort instead, and that keeps him alive. So now down to the bot lane, we still have the next camp taken. I mean, again, control is more or less lost for the Logs right now. They need to have something here, and with something I mean a bit of success in getting a hook and getting anything. interrupt attempts against the Dragonite channel, so far successful. They're trying for Dehaka at the top again, but only with Link. The rest of the team could try and move too. The problem again is the more heroes are in the middle to prevent the Dragonite from being caught, the more space for them at the bottom. 13 is there, Hook range, and the interrupt still happens, but there's tons of pressure right now, and there's a Dragonite. Yep, just outside of range. Junkrat missed the mark a little bit, so now they got the Dragonite, and to make matters worse, Zagara is already down here with Rhaegar. They have to slowly rotate back, but that is already some structural damage that is done as the towers are about to fall, and it helped them also with experience. Nice more! And they should be able to follow up on at least one of them, and they do. Uther is down, gets deleted after the Stormwood connects with him, and he doesn't stand a chance there. Fort in the middle is about to get destroyed, and with the level 16 talent that they just now locked in for themselves, they have, of course, even more of an opportunity. They use it right away to take Stitches down, and now that he's eliminated, it's Junkrat that is next. He is gone too. Could have used Rocket Ride again, but didn't. But they are obviously just crushing them here. That was 10 kills to 2, 16 to 14. Easy keep at the 10-minute mark that they get now. And it puts them into a better position by the second. I mean, they're even hoping to destroy the core now. And with death timer still on 12 and 17 seconds, there's a very, very good chance that they're going to lock in the victory on the first game of this best of 3 series now. Another drag, Divine Shield comes out. Dragonite is finally gone. Bad Benny is just hammering away, and they get another kill against Uther. So Uther's gone, so is the core. That's the lead in the series as the Saboteurs take the victory on Dragonshire. GG, well played.
So, a quick reminder before we're jumping into the second game of the series, guys. Once again, until the 8th of December, we have a cooperation going on with Raid Shadow Legends where you can support the stream for completely free. As you know, I'm hosting Meta Madness myself. I put the prize money up and everything. So if you guys want to support this a little bit, if you want to help me to host more tournaments like this in the future, you can now do that for free just by playing a game while you're actually watching the stream, for example, or while you're watching the VODs. There's a link in the description to Raid Shadow Legends. All that you gotta do is download the game and then play through the tutorial. And if you're extra generous with your time and you really want to help the stream, you can play the account to level 10 or play the account to level 25. That would even be better. We also have a clan. I'll link it in the description too if you guys want to check it out a bit more. Again, I've been playing the game for a while, but if you just want to support the stream a little bit, download the game through the link, play through the tutorial, and that would already help. So thank you very much. Thanks for listening and enjoy game number 2.
Alright, game number 2. Braxis Holdout is the map. We got the Saboteurs against the Dogs, and the favorites have claimed victory on the first map. Now again, as we're heading into game number 2, we have 12 heroes, you can see them down here, that cannot be played in this third qualifier. And the 10 heroes that have been played on the first map are obviously unavailable for this series, which means that 22 heroes are now gone. So, that leaves us with Zarya banned very quickly. A little bit sad. Also, with Braxis being the second map, it's kind of funny to me, simply because this is the map where particularly Dino would have usually played Zagara, but since he already did that on Dragonshire, he can't do it again. We have also Rexa already played, so a lot of the heroes you would normally see on Braxis are now unavailable. And I am very curious what we're getting, because you can't pick Genji, which you normally would pick here. Muradin is a good choice, can't be picked anymore. Again, Medivh. I mean, you could go Medivh, I suppose, and play some portal action, but a lot of the usual suspects for a Braxis Holdout game are now gone. So, are we going to see something a little bit nuts? Quick reminder, there was a time when you could play Phoenix as your side laner, and then also go into Planet Cracker. The Americans really like to do that. And what some of the players did, particularly in early iterations of Meta Madness, was also go Murky and Phoenix, for example. And then Murky goes into an Octo Grab, and Phoenix YOLOs the Planet Cracker across the map, and you get kills like this. So there's a couple of interesting interactions you can try and pull out when you're playing, I guess, on Braxis Holdout. I would think we're going to see that later in the tournament, maybe in qualifier number 5, maybe the playoffs, but that's an option if you see a map like this. And if you just look at what heroes are being banned right now, you can already tell that the 22 heroes that are currently unavailable are really impacting the way that the teams are thinking about the map now. So, fairly interesting. You want wave clear, of course, too. mages come to mind. Particularly Gul'dan is still open for Braxis. Could be a good solo, not solo laner, bot laner for you. And we are starting with Chromie. So they're going for some extra shenanigans with Chromie. And how is the blue team reacting to this? I would love to see something a bit nuts. Okay, Benny goes for Nubarak. He's of course still up, can traverse the terrain fairly quickly. So good for that. And, well, now we're heading over to Maiev. Yeah, Maiev not being banned out. Rutsu played Karrigan in game number 1, and I honestly don't really understand why they did not ban Maiev again. I'm looking at that Zarya ban, and I'm looking at Alexstrasza, and I'm really asking myself why. Because Maiev in Rutsu's hand... There's a reason they banned Maiev in game number 1. There's a reason for that. So Rutsu is going to murder, I believe. But Garrosh is also up, which means we get now Garrosh and Deckard Cain, so that's already some control that can establish here. Garrosh, of course, can come in with a taunt, also can flip people around a little bit. You have Deckard Cain, who can follow up on all of that with added slows and roots. But still, need a bit more wave clear. I need something on that bot lane that can really help them to also stop any kind of push that comes with the Zerg waves. Chromie has the Dragon's Breath, yes, but yeah, I mean, she can poke from a distance, that's a good thing about her. But you want a bit more than that. Cassia gets banned. Okay. And that leaves us with the final ban for this particular series. For winner bracket round of 8 match. And who do they want to target here? It gets a little bit tricky with some of the bans as well, because the more we are moving into the Meta Madness style, the more heroes are already removed, the more you're not banning against particular players again. You are banning more so against what you think is still available and strong. And they get rid of Jaina. So one of the mages that can get a lot of wave clear in makes Gul'dan more and more likely, in my opinion, as a wave clear hero. But Jaina, of course, can also follow up very nicely on anything that Maiev and Anubara can throw out there. So whenever the two of them work in tandem and lock a target down, Jaina with her burst damage has a huge impact. But when it comes to mages, I could definitely still see Gul'dan. In the back of my head, there was also Kel'Thas flying around a bit, but yeah. Bambi is up as well. Okay, so they go Bambi. We get Urel for the side lane at the top. She also synergizes extremely well with the Nubarak. So we have a nice front line there. Lunara for the main damage. Yeah, and now the question how the dogs are going to play this. Who are they going to add for added wave clear? You already have one mage. Now you can obviously play double mage. It's not really common, not something that you see a lot for good reason. But in Meta Madness, it's definitely something we're seeing a bit more. And I completely blanked on Sylvanas. Totally forgot about her. So she's still available, gets picked. And we have Chen together with Garrosh, so even more displacement. We're gonna go for some top cake plays with some nice barrel. Yeah, so we get Lunara as our final pick, and that sets us up for game number 2, everybody. Braxis holdout, second map in the best of 3 series here in the winner bracket. The DogZ against the Saboteurs. Game number 2, Hazu and his boys in the lead. The man himself on Urel. We have Benny on Anubarak, Dino on Lunara, Rutsu on Maiev, and Yazu on Tyrande. To the right side of the map, the DogZ with Kimixam on Sylvanas. We got Splice on Chen, Jayhard on Garrosh, Link on Deckard Cain, and Suspect is playing Chromie. Very suspect indeed. So, let's see what the blue team is going to pull off here. On the other side, obviously, we got Pandemonium reigning supreme. Straight from the Pandaverse, we got Chen. Tin is correct, black and white. Skin is a little bit off, but still he gets a B for that. And now that we are already looking for potential kills, I guess. Yeah, they're starting to roam towards the top a bit, where Sylvanas is also waiting. So everybody is just like trying to get some kills here, and Sylvanas is realizing, yeah, I'm in trouble. But she's still fine. Chen, on the other hand, might not be. He's trying to jump back out, still gets stunned, but no problem. The follow-up was there too from Yazu, but they just couldn't connect any damage. Lunara is also still sitting down at the bottom of the map. So yeah, that was another one. And look at that! Benny is the first one to fall. Again! Benny is the new Lauber. Benny just simply is the new Lauber. That's just what it is. You can all, I mean, again, he pulled the Lauber once more. He already died early in game number 1, if I'm not mistaken. Now he did the same thing in game number 2, always before the 1 minute mark. If that doesn't remind, he Laubered. So, yeah. But down to the bottom of the map, Lunara, she can still start to poke this out a little bit. Stacks obviously also for Tyrande. Well, and with the 1 minute mark passed, it also means we have some mercenary camps up on the map, and the teams are immediately starting to make their move there to grab those. And the blue team is a bit quicker, so they should now have an opportunity to come in and take maybe part of that wall down, at least get control over the bottom beacon. And they are trying to go for the top as well. Get both already early on. And I guess they will. Anubarak is defending down here, and yeah, this is starting to already look a bit grim. Because I don't think they're anywhere near taking control over the top. And down here at the bottom, they finally claim it, but they already lost 32%. Okay, so... yeah, guess who's coming? We're gonna get Maiev in the house, and they gotta give this one up. So Chen against Urel at the top, and down here they want to reclaim position, which they are just about to do. So once again, the progress ticks in favor of the Saboteurs. They're using Garrosh as best as they can to just try and get this back and throw them off the point. But they're losing more and more ground as we speak, and in this particular case we're now looking at 64% already, and we're only 2.5 minutes into this game. So yeah, super quickly. They're even rotating Maiev back up towards, I was about to say, towards the top to pull Chen back, but nope, instead we're going to get a camp that they're getting. So they're just having more control over what's going on here. Dino gets killed by Sylvanas. There's actually 2 kills to 0. So, in all fairness to the dogs, they are coming through with 2 quick kills, and they even have a tiny lead in experience, and thanks to those kills, they're now also taking that wall down. Nice little move back towards the point, and they get Sylvanas as well. Damn, okay, so yeah, that changes things slightly. Benny is a bit low, waits for his cooldown so that he can dive out, and is not going to die here. But you gotta give it to the dogs. They are still playing this out fairly nicely. They go for Rutsu. But now that are they going to lose him? Yeah, Jihad makes it out. So the bottom wall has taken a significant amount of damage. They have full control on the bottom beacon again. And now Urel has taken the top lane again. So they might be able to get the full 100% here against 0. But it all depends on Hazobs and how long he can sit here. He can definitely sacrifice himself for it if he wants to. Doesn't even have to maybe. Nope, he gets out. But it's 100% Zerg wave to 0. So... neat little play from the Saboteurs. They're also waiting to set up a trap for rotation, but nobody's rotating over. Defense is already there. And that will allow them to potentially take the top fort out. I mean, that wall will fall. That's a given. The question is, how aggressive are they going to be diving? Okay, very aggressive. There's your answer right there. Stun, tether. And nearly a kill. They got Kane, still made it out though. Defense at the bottom of the map is obviously a little bit easier for the blue team because the Zerg wave was just a joke. It was only the 18% that you get by default, and that was it. But up here, wall destroyed, everybody's still pinned down, and they are looking to grab someone with that combo of theirs. And it's just again aggressive with the Anubarak moving in and Tyrande following it up with stuns. So the more they can lock the opponent into one of these CC chains, the better it is also for Lunara as she gets the damage out. And talking about her damage a little bit, we currently see her at 8,000. I mean, again, we're early on in the game, only 5 minutes in, but she's currently sitting at 8k. Maiev at 7, and then you look over towards Sylvanas and she's already at 10 with Chromie trailing at 9. So decent numbers for on both sides. Camps, of course, still about to be claimed by not only the blue team, but we're also having the dogs going for their own bruiser camp here and locking this one in quickly. But just generally speaking, a lot more lane pressure for the Saboteurs. They have more camps that they took a little bit quicker. Red team is trying to catch up on it, but that also means that they have resources that are spent elsewhere. They're losing time on defense, and it just shows with forts now taking damage. Benny should still be able to get away from this, not panicking or anything as he's starting to slowly dive back out. At the top, Lunara against Chen is just soloing it up there, so Dino is now all of a sudden on the side lane. Yeah, it's a half-level lead for the blue team. Obviously, they have the lead in this series as well. If they win on Braxis, then they move on to the winner bracket semifinal, and they would send the Dogs down into the losers bracket. But as is, yeah, Chromie again trying to get a ult into action. They go for Yasu, and no way for him to escape. Yeah, he was completely shut down there. Body blocked into oblivion, no chance. And another good kill for the Dogs. So now sitting at 3 kills to 1, and they want to make it 4 as they're going for Benny. But at least in this case, he is actually able to survive and make his way back out. So an interesting, honestly, this is an interesting one. Definitely a lot closer than what we saw in game number 1. The Dogs are fighting back here time and time again, going full underdogs. I honestly wonder if that was the intent behind the name or not. Not that it really matters, but oh, Sylvanas, you're kind of brave. I'm not sure if that was intended, that she really wanted to jump onto that wave, but that very quickly turned into a suicide run. So Sylvana's gone, and that means Garrosh is also 2 alone here. They're chasing them down one after another. Now Gnomi is trying to waddle away, still getting stunned by Yasu, but there's no kill coming through. Level 10 any moment. And Uberok also with a much more aggressive build here, as you can see from his talents. So went into the subterranean shield and to the burrow charge here. And they're actually going straight in for Chromie again, prepping it with a cocoon. So they really want her. She doesn't have 13 yet, so there's no timeout. As long as they don't lose Benny again, they're going to be fine. And Benny is able to escape. The fort has not learned to run away yet, so that's a skill that it's been working on for quite some time. But currently it's just not there yet. It's been moving a little bit, but not enough. So a fort won't be able to run. That means that this one is going to get soon destroyed. Because now that Lunara has access to her Thornwood Vines, she is going to use those to try and take this one out as time continues. Chen barreling out. He's already gone. Still one of my favorite ults. Chen barrel is just funny as hell and offers tons of utility. It's honestly a really cool talent. It's a really fun one. Particularly when you can, of course, combine it with Arid Crater on Sonya and go full washing machine. But my F dies, and I gotta say, the Dogs, they're getting their kills. It's 4 kills to 4 now, so of course that earlier combo against the Dogs has hurt them a little bit, but they're catching up on this again. The objective, therefore, that's slightly different. On the objective, we have, again, 64%. Cocoon is out against Chromie. They're still trying to fight this properly, but it's guess Yasu is now going to get wrecked too. So Yasu is gone. I mean, again, the red team is fighting. They're fighting, they're doing what they can. They're trying to claw their way into this series. They have double control now, so they can finally work towards the objective a little bit. Nice move by Garrosh. Very aggressive. I'm not quite sure if it really helps them, but he didn't die. So Garrosh is actually still alive, and Rutsu might not survive through this, and indeed doesn't. So they're picking up another kill here. Kill after kill for the red team. So I kind of like the way that they're playing this, and honestly, with all of the kills that they're currently getting, their chances of locking an objective in for themselves are only increasing. Now, this isn't a winner takes all, meaning that 64% wave for the Saboteurs are going to hit hard no matter how much they end up with towards the end or how much the Dogs are getting. And the Dogs themselves are currently sitting at 74, but still highly interesting if you ask me. Because there's a chance that the Dogs are starting to gain some momentum on this one. And the Saboteurs, they have shown some weakness in qualifier number 1. It's always a bit weird because it's not necessarily them showing weakness, but it's just other teams have stepped it up. But you look at these CC chains and you're thinking eventually they gotta pull it off, right? So they go for Splice, who might just barely be saved. And yeah, is still alive and kicking. Hazops went deep for the kill, but couldn't get it, and now he himself is in a bit of trouble. Hazu trying to get out there. Chromie back, safe out of the cocoon, and I suppose that Hazu at least is gonna fall. Urel should not be able to survive this. Ult has already been used, and yep, that's the old man gone, so later Boomer. And of course, now that the waves are established, it's 100% wave for the Saboteurs, but there's still 70% in total for the Dogs. And they are currently trying to use that up here at the top as they're pushing for the fort. 33,000 damage for Sylvanas, 20,000 for Chen. 28,000 for Chromie. As they're going for the Panda again. And Lunara is sitting at 37, so she's top damage in the game. Of course, a lot of damage over time here too. But yep, Lunara still leading the charts here. Sylvanas is currently defending down at the bottom of the map against the Zerg wave of the blue team. Is still losing that wall. Very unlikely that she can do anything about that, but prevents the worst from happening. The keep itself is going to be fine. The fight at the top, on the other hand, still continues, and yes, there's so many stuns. And honestly, Yasuo has been locking these stuns in like a fucking boss. I mean, he's a champ on this one. Not only is his positioning absolute stellar, he died only once, but also the Lunar Flare follow-ups that he had on anything, and even just shutting down some of the escape paths, has been incredible here. So, nicely done. 7 kills to 5. Doesn't change the fact that the Saboteurs are currently behind in kills. That's still a reality that they gotta face off against. But now that they have their level 13 talent and heading towards level 14, they're taking down another fort at the top. And that means that both of the red team's forts are gone. Now they themselves have taken the bot lane fort of the blue team. And up at the top, this one is down to 50% HP. But there's still a fountain there for the blue team. And that is mainly what you're looking for to begin with. So, yeah, still a lot that they can do here. Normally, when you're talking Braxis, there's a huge momentum swing happening the second that one team destroys the other's forts. But yeah, just what it is there now. We are now looking at another opportunity to establish a bit of lane pressure through mercenary camps. One has been stolen away by the Saboteurs, and now they're going for their own. I should be able to grab this one as well. So top lane in particular is a bit of a concern. They haven't really figured out where Chen is yet, so yeah, he obviously has the barrel also up. If worse comes to worse, he's going to be able to just barrel out of it. Might have to. And again, wants to go for Dino apparently here. Who gets a globe and is still going to be Gucci because Yasuo is close by and can always assist him here. Splice alone is not going to make a move against this many heroes. But as they are again occupying their time at the bot lane, that top lane push is going to become annoying. Now they are trying to steal this one away again. Beacons are also activating in another 20. And for the blue team, you can actually tell that the Saboteurs are in an interesting spot because they're not really ahead in experience or anything. So they can't rely on their talent advantage as they could in the game number 1. That was much easier for them to play because they found themselves in a consistent lead. And now it's just simply not happening. They're still trying to take the camp, but they can't get it. And now they go for a Nubarak, and Bennu is dead. Benny is dead again. Kill number 8. I'm telling you guys, the cats, they're coming in here. They're coming in and they are starting to gain a bit of momentum. And then Yasuo owls Chromie and takes her down. And now the entire team is trying to retreat again. But as I said before, the more they're fighting here, the better for the top lane. It's not going to destroy the keep, but if you can open up another opportunity for yourselves for later on, then you're still going to be fine there. Lunara is already taking over. It's trying to establish control. I guess she's not going to hold this for long because Chen is now ready and he is going to take that spot. But they might get at least some progress as now Tyrande takes over at the bottom. And honestly, now that they're 2, they might get a lot more than just a little bit. So they're forcing Chen already to barrel back out. Progress for the blue team is at 30% already, and they're falling back completely because they don't want to fight against level 16. That gave us Epicenter for Nubarak. And this is getting problematic, let's just put it at that. They have now 16 themselves, so now they're moving back in. I like that they waited for 16 talents. The problem is that it cost them a bit of time, and now we have 84% already for the blue team. Even if they should lose this one, 84% is a lot. And just imagine for a moment if the dogs are not getting any progress onto their side. Because if that happens, then it's going to be a full all-out push for a keep with no counter pressure, or barely any counter pressure. So the dogs, they're fighting as best they can, but there it is, 100% Zerg wave against 0, or well, against 18, the minimum that you're always getting. And they will aim for that top keep, 100%. I mean, why wouldn't they? Still even talents, that doesn't change. When it comes to damage, 60,000 nearly for Lunara now. Tyrande, by the way, with 15k. Compare that over on the other side. Deckard Cain, the old man with the stick, coming on half with it. 40,000, 42,000 for Sylvanas and for Chromie. And here comes the battle, straight up, trying to take that keep down, and as you can tell, they're looking for more than that, because the keep just disappears. Pools and Houdini melts away within a second, and yeah, that is likely a push for Koi if they get a kill here. They're trying. Unless, of course, Benny dies. If the red team is now getting a few kills for themselves, then they can stop this one. But the shield is disappearing so quickly, and now the hit points are just getting murdered. Looks like this is going to be a 2-0 victory. The Saboteurs came in as the favorite, and they justified that role. A 2-0 as they move on to the winner bracket semi-final, and the Dogs go to the losers bracket.
Thank you everybody for watching the video today. I hope that you enjoyed the show and the commentary. And keep in mind that the spoiler protection that is going to run for the rest of the video is made possible by all the support on patreon.com. So guys, if you want to support my work, if you want to help me start new projects and keep the spoiler protection in place, please consider heading over to patreon.com/Khaldor. There's also a link in the YouTube description, and check that out. Thanks in advance, and see you guys next time with more esports coverage here on Khaldor TV. Have a great day.